Europeans? The Bible's written for the Europeans?
Well, the
Give me
New
Psalms.
Testament is. The Old Testament is for the, what you would call, whoever was over there
Okay.
before the Ashkenazi came.
Ashkenazi, okay, yeah.
So the
Right.
Sephardi Jew, that Old Testament was probably written for them.
Right. It was probably. So listen, there's a saying that says the average man cannot prove half of the things that he speaks of, but yet believes it. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't believe the Bible because it was written by the white man, right? But one thing you got to understand about this book, it wasn't written for every man. You
Right.
believe that?
Yeah, it was basically,
Who was the Bible written for?
it was basically written for them,
For who's them?
the Europeans. Whoever,
The Europeans? The Bible's written for the Europeans?
Of course. Well, the
Give me
New
Psalms.
Testament is. The Old Testament is for the, what you would call, whoever was over there
Okay.
before the Ashkenazi came.
Ashkenazi, okay, yeah. Yeah.
I forgot how the Sam, what are they called? There's two type of Jewish people. The Ashkenazi and the Sephardi.
Sephardic Jews,
So the
right?
Sephardi Jew, that Old Testament was probably written for them.
Right. It was probably. All right, there's
So
a...
there was millions of translations, whatever.
Okay, all right, so let me...
Everybody translated something.
All right, so let me
Their own,
let you know
their own
that
benefit.
this is a saying that I knew from young. How you doing, my brother? How you feeling? You care to discourse with us. Let's talk about God. All right, so listen. There's a saying that says the average man cannot prove half of the things that he speaks of, but yet believes it. We want to come out of that thought. We want to show you everything we say can be proven through this book. And what's heavy about it, which I want to wish I could win your spirit, this book was not written for the other nation because it was prophesied in this book who it was written for. Read that.
Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob.
Unto who?
Unto Jacob.
Who's Jacob?
I mean, he's supposed to be the father of the 12.
Exactly. Read.
His statutes and judgments unto Israel.
Unto who?
Unto Israel.
Who's Israel?
12 tribes.
Exactly. That's the 12 sons of Jacob. Read.
He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
So if this book was for them or they rewritten this book, that shouldn't have been in there. But the Lord...
It's for not the Ashkenazi, but the other.
Well, this is where we getting at.
Okay.
Now, give me that in Jeremiah. You that in Jeremiah. Now, we're going to go from the Old Testament to the New Testament to show you nothing changed. Nothing changed. From the Old to the New. The Jewish Amalek, the one that stole our identity, they're Jewish. When you have the suffix ish to a word, what does that mean? If I say, if I say, my brother, you're childish right now. Are you a child or you act? There you go. So their identity is Jewish. They assume the identity. Aside from the Bible, you got to go into the history, understand what was the Balfour Declaration about. 1948, how these people ended up in Jerusalem.
What is the Balfour Declaration and why does it matter? On its 100th anniversary, many in the Arab world blame the declaration for the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In 1917, British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour wrote a letter to Lord Walter Rothschild, one of Britain's most prominent Jewish citizens. Balfour called for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people within the former Ottoman Empire. At the time, the population of Palestine was less than 10% Jewish, and the declaration accelerated Jewish migration from Europe. In 1948, a UN resolution established the State of Israel, despite opposition from Arab neighbors. By then, the Jewish population had grown more than tenfold.
Exactly. So Judaism, right. So Judaism was never their religion. right? It was an identity that was stolen. So now, before that even took place, we just read, as per King David, God revealed to him that these things, these judgments, these mysteries that's in this book was only shown to the children of Israel. It's not for the nation, right? We go to the New Testament. Before you give me that, the description of the Jews, give me what Christ said, Matthew 15. This is what Christ said. And this is why the Jewish don't believe in Christ the Messiah. There's a lot of Old Testament Israelites also that don't believe in the New Testament.
Bring it out.
That's only because God did not impart that understanding on these brothers. And Lord's will, one day, it'll grow in their spirit, but through the fear of God, he opens your wisdom and your understanding. You cannot grab this book as a man with your own thought and understanding. God gives you a formula on how to understand this book. I'm going to touch that real quick, but listen to this.
Matthew chapter 15 verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So through the whole book, this book is dedicated to the children of Israel.
Right.
So now what's important is that we have identified who the children of Israel are. Where do you see yourself in this list?
Well,
Who?
that was, I guess you're gonna go with this guy.
Right, because that's what they call you nowadays, right? How could you be an African American? This is why this book debunks all lies. This is why I can't stand when people say this book was written by the white man.
Bring it out.
Because this is the same book that's revealing who we are today.
Bring it out.
So let me ask you a question. How could a melanated people from the Middle East be African and American at the same time?
That's just a title.
That's just a title.
They put on everybody.
All right, so now let me ask you a question. The man and the woman, who carries the seed?
What's that?
The man and the woman, who carries the seed? Who
Carries it or who gives it?
Who carries the seed?
The man carries the seed.
All right, and then he planted in a woman, right? So now I'm gonna give you a layman example how we can identify ourselves biblically, right? I'm from the Caribbean, right? And we have a particular mango that we like, right? If I take that mango seed from Haiti and come and plant it here in Philadelphia, granted the weather is different, let's just say I have some kind of grow room or whatever, and it grows. What kind of mango am I gonna have? Am I gonna have a Haitian Philadelphia mango?
Yeah.
How?
Have a mix.
How?
Because this is the soil it grew from.
Okay.
It's just like planting a seed into a woman.
I'm
You're gonna
glad you
have
said
both.
that.
You're gonna have your father and your mother.
But did God say that? Is that how God established? Exactly. Give me that in numbers.
Oh, numbers.
Give me that in numbers. Let me show you how you identified your pedigree and your lineage according to the Bible. And that's heavy because that pedigree and lineage came with laws. So that way we be able to identify ourselves not to mix with the other nations, so we're not confused on what God wants the chosen people to do.
Bring it out.
Read that.
Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families, by the house of their fathers.
By their mother?
By the house of their fathers.
Half and half.
Of their fathers.
So it remains according to God. If a white man have a child with a Israelite woman, when we say Israelite, we're speaking to them of the native, Hispanics, and the so-called blacks. If a white man have a children with any three of these groups, that child is not a mixed child. He is according to his father. So he would be an Edomite. He's a race of Edom, which is that's why the Bible calls the white race. So there's no half black and half white.
Right.
You are according to the seed of your father.
That's right.
That's how God determined. In Jewish mythology, they try to say because you slept, the mother has something to do with the pedigree of that child. That's not what God said.
Right.
That's what science says.
Right.
We go by the book. God said all the tribes and the people were determined by the house of their fathers. Hence, give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6, and then we're going to go to imagery of how these people look. God gave this law for a particular reason, because God revealed to Moses the beginning, the midst, and the ends of time. If he revealed that to Moses, he understood we'll be in this era right now where we are lost of who we truly are. And that's why he revealed it to Moses, and he gave Moses commandments. Right. Listen to this one commandment. Aligning that with your pedigree. Watch this, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Read.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Stop. God chose us to be a special people. So he gave these special people instructions. Give me verse 3.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son, for they will turn away thy son from following me.
You see that? The laws of God said we were not supposed to marry outside of the Israel nation.
Bring it out.
In the Israel nation, we got so many flavors, bro. We have the Issachar women, the so-called Mexican women, beautiful.
Not to cut you off,
Right,
so
go ahead.
why did Moses' sister and brother jump on him for messing with one of his wives? They
Talk about the Ethiopian woman?
Right, because God,
I think we're all the same.
that wasn't his choice.
Whose choice?
That was prophesied by God where he would be and marry onto that woman. That's the difference between picking a woman yourself and letting the Lord decide that. That's why they jumped on him, and they started murmuring because of that. They started murmuring, what, does the Lord only speak to you, Moses? Right. He speak to us too. But that was called murmuring because the Lord was communicating with Moses. And that was allowed at that time. Just like multiple wives was allowed at that time.
Right.
But now under this covenant, that's not allowed.
Right.
So you got to understand, you could either, like for example, the Prophet Muhammad in Islam, he was self-proclaimed. There's no prophecy in this book that Muhammad would be the religion of the children of Israel. There's no prophecy about that. But yet the prophecy in Genesis 16 says that we would be the seed. We would be the heir of the promise of Abraham. It doesn't say nothing about Ishmael because his forefather Ishmael was not the chosen seed. Right. You ever read that?
Yeah, it was Isaac.
All right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a lineage things according to the seed.
Come up.
Right. So now the book, there's no other book on the face of this earth that's going to explain the paths of the 18 nations that God created.
Right. Wake 'em up.
You feel what I'm saying? There's 18 nations spoken of in this book, and there's no other book on the face of the earth that tells you from beginning to end what befalls these nations.
Bring it out.
But one thing is for sure, from the beginning to the end of this book is speaking about the children of Israel.
Right.
That's the only difference. There's no other book that has prophecies that took place, prophecies that's happening currently, and prophecies that has not taken place yet. What other book you know could do that? There's no other book.
I'm not a theologian, so I don't study.
There's no other book.
At all.
All right, so now I want to show you imagery now in the Bible. Because one of the things that our people in Christianity fail to understand, that you're not taught your identity in this book because the people who created these religions, they want to look supreme. They want you to see them as God. So they'll never reveal to you who you are. Give me that in Jeremiah. We're going to start with Jeremiah, and we're going to go through many scriptures. Hold on. We're going to go many scriptures. I just want to bring you to the point that, yo, this is interesting what these guys talking about. Let me go seek and find out for myself. Don't take our word for it. Everything you ask us, we're going to come out of here with it. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
Judah mourneth. So not only Christ came out the line of Judah, right? But the kingdom of Israel was separated. They were known as Judah, the 3 tribes. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was the southern kingdom, and the rest of these brothers was known as the northern kingdom. They were known as Israel, and these guys was known as Judah, right? And they remained in Jerusalem after the separation of Rehoboam and Jeroboam, Solomon's two sons. The northern kingdom fell into idolatry. So for that cause, God led them away into captivity. That's a curse. They were led away, King Salmanessar, into captivity. That's part of the history. So now listen what it says about Judah. Read.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
When it says the gates thereof language, they lacked in having spiritual leaders to guide the people. A gate is supposed to block you from evil coming in or danger coming in. So during this period of time, our gates was desolate. Our leaders, our prophets was not around. Read.
They are black unto the ground.
They are what?
They are black unto the ground.
The Hasidic, the Jewish, they mimic this scripture by wearing all black. They say, oh yeah, that's us. They are black. No, it's talking about their appearance, their skin. Give me another one. Give me that in Psalms or Lamentation, anyone you want. We're going to go through a couple of scriptures in the Old Testament leading to the New Testament to see if the word changed. This is why we have to rebuke the thought that this book, yes, it was rewritten. It's still being rewritten today. Today you have the gay Bible. You have the LGBT Bible. You have the NIV. Why they spend so much time revising this book? That's because they want to hide something.
Right.
The people that the book belonged to, they don't want you to know, so they're going to confuse you.
Right.
Right? Read.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's.
This is what Solomon said. Read.
Verse 5. I am black.
I'm what?
I am black, but comely.
So they should erase that.
Bring it
Solomon said, I'm black and comely. The white man don't have the spirit to erase the word of God.
Bring it out.
You see what I'm saying?
I think you think you're making that up. I think I might.
No, let him read it. Let him see what I'm saying.
He said it got rewritten.
It is written.
Not this one. We got the
Right.
original book.
Black doesn't, in that particular case, black doesn't mean skin color.
It doesn't mean skin color? Okay.
It does not mean that.
All right, hold
It
on.
means his position, how he's feeling.
All right. Oh, okay.
Commonly is
Means that you're handsome.
yes.
He says, I am black but calmly. So that means I'm dark skinned, but I am
He's trying to say
beautiful.
that I am in this situation, but my appearance.
You know that's what the Jewish scholars say, what you're saying right now?
Well, that's what's written.
When they flip this around, they want to say, okay, but I just told you, the Jewish people today wear black in their clothes to show mourning. But this is talking about his complexion. Watch this right here.
Verse 6. Look not upon me.
Look what?
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me.
Bring it
Dark. When you stay in the sun too long, they will get tanned, they will get burned. All right? But when we stay in the sun too long, we get darker, we get more melanated. This is talking about literally skin complexion. I'm going to give you another one.
Telling the truth.
Uh-huh.
So he said they lied about Christ.
Of course.
So
And I'm about to get to that right now.
Because he said nobody never seen him though.
Exactly.
But we did see him. Show him that.
God, Jesus was his color.
That's right.
Because the word said Latin,
That's it.
Arabic, Jew.
Right. Well, we
Why, let me talk.
Uh-huh.
Why they put a blonde white man in the cross
Right.
with blue eyes?
Right.
It's obvious.
Right.
I'm not disputing it. This is
Ah.
garbage.
Exactly.
Which is this is garbage, right? Yep, that's garbage.
That's understood.
And also
I don't know about this. This is different.
okay, I'm gonna get to that with you. I'm gonna get.
He said we were brought in chains. In that Bible, they were not. They were in ships.
Ah.
We were brought here in. So that is not our.
No, we
prophecy.
wasn't in chains in the ships.
That's not our prophecy.
That's not our prophecy.
And he said
Okay.
no one would want
All right. Wait.
Who didn't want a black
Wait.
slave?
Hold on.
Who didn't want a black slave?
I like where you're
The whole world wanted a
going.
black
Listen,
slave.
I like where you're going. That's a beautiful
That's not our
thought.
prophecy.
Wait, that's a beautiful thought. But what I want to do is right. We don't want to jump back and forth,
That's
right?
That's
This is something different. Listen, my brother, hang out right here and just listen to this discourse, right? Now we're talking about complexion, physical color and complexion. Give me that in Revelation. Give me a
I understand
revelation.
what they're saying about what he looked like.
Okay. So
I got
hold
that
on.
too.
All right. Hold
I got that
on.
too.
Give go.
Brass.
Wait. So let's go to Genesis
So you-
2 and 6.
I'm 50-something years old. I was
Okay.
raised
Exactly.
Pentecostal church. So I know all that
Okay.
stuff.
You know all this stuff?
I know all
You
that
sure?
stuff.
All right. Wait. Before we
I know
get
all that
that,
stuff.
I got a question for
Not
you.
trying to be arrogant, but I just
No, my brother. I
I was raised in
understand.
that
Listen, I was just like you
Exactly.
when a brother brought this to me. I had all types of questions. I have all types of questions, right? All right. I have all types of questions, right? And that's what I like about you. You got the questions, and as a man of the Lord, we're going to show you the answers here. So now, you said you've been in a Pentecostal church all your life. You know this, okay? So where in this book, right, that God said for us to follow a Pentecostal religion? He didn't. So why do we do that? All right. So now,
it's a branch of Christianity. It's
exactly.
all Christianity.
And Christianity was created by who?
The European.
And are they our friends or our enemies?
Enemy.
Are they our friends or our enemies?
90% of them is enemies. So
All of them are your enemies. And I'm going to prove it to you, thus saith the Lord. But before we get
so
there,
you're reading the New Testament,
I know my
which
story.
practically
I got
versus
African.
Christianity.
You know that?
no! Hell to the no, to the no. The New Testament endorsed the Israelites.
That's right.
All right. I got so many questions for you too. Wait. Listen to this. I don't want to jump around. I just want to keep it. Let's deal with Pentecostal first. Pentecostal was created by your enemies, correct? And our people today, being that they don't know their true identity, thus saith the Lord in the Bible, we naturally follow Pentecostal church.
Right.
But let me show you what Pentecostal was about.
It's about the tongues.
About the tongues?
Yes.
You sure that's all it was about?
It's about the tongue. Them when praying and the day of Pentecost.
So what was the day of Pentecost to the Jews?
They didn't. There was nothing for the Jews.
Huh?
It was for the Jews who were converting into Christianity.
Oh, really? Give me that.
Following Christ.
Give me that.
Well, following Yeshua, because he wasn't called Christ, walked in the earth.
Give me that in Leviticus 23. Listen, before Acts, the New Testament, right? The Jews were keeping a custom that God gave them as per a law. It was the laws of God. Come back and talk to us, huh, my brother? As per a law of God. Read that for me.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 15.
Read verse 1 first in Leviticus 23.
Verse 1 and 2. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak to the world.
Children of Israel.
Gentiles.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord,
Concerning the feast of the Lord, read.
which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
These are the feasts of the Lord. He said, proclaim it as a holy convocation. You must come together during this time. Read the law.
Verse 15, and ye shall count unto you from the morrow, after the Sabbath, from the day that is brought by the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow, after the 7th Sabbath, shall ye number 50 days.
50 days. He's telling you how to look at the cycle of the moon, and then to know 50 days from that Sabbath will be what? Read.
And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be taken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord.
The feast of the first fruit is known as the feast of Pentecost. Now go to Acts 2. This is what the apostles was doing. They was keeping the law that God gave to Moses to give to the children of Israel. Not a feast for the Gentiles to come in. I'm going to show you the misconception why you say the Gentile was coming in. It goes back to Deuteronomy 28, the curses. We would have been scattered all over. So the fact that we were scattered all over, those of us that retained the understanding that we are Jews, but called Gentiles that live in other lands and other countries, they knew what they had to do. Acts chapter 2.
Acts chapter 2 and verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. Verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men.
So in Jerusalem there was Jews, devout men, the tribes of Judah, the southern kingdom. Read.
Out of every nation under heaven.
Out of every nation under heaven. The curse of Deuteronomy said we would be scattered across the four corners of the earth. But those that knew they were Jews, they came from out of every nation under the sun. Read on.
Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
So this is where the Pentecostal fraudulent religion stems from.
Wake 'em up.
They say these men were speaking in tongues.
Right.
But listen to what it says clearly. Read that again.
Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded.
They were confounded
Because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
his own what?
Language.
Not glossolalia. I need you to look up that term. Glossolalia, the uttering of words unknown to anybody.
Right.
They were confounded because these men started speaking. The men at Jerusalem started speaking the language of the land that they came from. And listen to this, it's not over.
And they were all amazed and marveled,
Amazed, go ahead.
saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
Aren't these men from Jerusalem, from Galilee? Read.
And how hear we every man in his own tongue?
How hear we every man in his own tongue? We're going to see what tongues they heard them from. Read.
Wherein we were born,
Where when they were born. Read.
Parthians,
Parthians,
and Medes,
and
Elamites,
Elamites,
and the dwellers in Mesopotamia,
Mesopotamia,
and in Judea,
Judea,
and Cappadocia, and Pontus,
Pontus,
and Asia.
and Asia. These men heard the men of Jerusalem speak the languages of the places where they were born.
That's right.
So that debunks the Pentecostal church. Pentecostal speaks glossolalia. It is uttering of words and tongues, usually to summon spirits.
Right.
Tongues that nobody can understand.
Right.
But in the book of Acts, they were confounded. They said, how hear we these men speak in the tongues of where they came from?
That's right.
That was the miracle of God. That was that spirit, that light that came upon their head. They had the ability to speak in the languages that these men came from. In the Pentecostal church, they don't do that.
Right.
If you bring a Haitian in an American Pentecostal church, they can't speak Creole that he understands.
Right.
If you bring a Hispanic in an American Pentecostal church, they can utter the scriptures in Spanish so that he can understand.
Right.
That was an ability given by God. So it goes to prove to you our oppressors created a false religion out of the feast day of the Jew.
That's right.
Pentecostal was a feast day that God gave the Jews to observe every year at that time. No matter where you come from, you're going to come to Jerusalem to bring your offerings and keep this day as my feast.
Right.
That debunks the Pentecostal church.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is